Welcome to The Critique. Today we're dissecting a transcript of a commentary video, one that gets deep into a conflict between a couple of political commentators.
Yeah, there's a lot in there. Allegations of betrayal, some really, bizarre behavior.
A lot to get through, so let's just dive right in. The first major area for improvement for me is structure. It's about prioritization and, thematic grouping.
I'm glad you started there. Frankly, I think this is the most critical issue in the whole piece.
It is.
The current structure, it dilutes the impact of the most serious allegations. It mixes them up with minor complaints and just pure mockery.
It's a hierarchy problem, right? The narrative just whipsaws you. Like, 1 minute you've got these really high-stakes issues.
Oh, yeah.
Like the subject's alleged sinister threats, that "we are watching" clip.
Which is genuinely creepy.
And then immediately, sometimes in the very next breath, we're pivoting to something totally trivial, like her mispronouncing the word naivety.
Exactly. And that creates this self-defeating effect. When you treat a mispronounced word with the same level of scrutiny as, an alleged threat to a board member, you're not elevating the grammar mistake.
No, you're lowering the threat.
You're lowering this threat. You're telling the listener these two things are equally important. And if a narrator thinks bad pronunciation is a big deal, I start to question their judgment on what's actually dangerous.
It's the boy who cried wolf, but instead of just crying wolf, he's crying wolf, and then bad haircut, and then wolf again.
Right.
After a while, you just stop listening for the wolf. The audience is just bouncing between this person is dangerous and this person is just annoying.
And annoying is a much easier emotion to sit with than fear, so that's where the audience lands. It just softens the whole argument.
It really does, and it gives the person being critiqued an incredibly easy way out.
Oh, a huge out. It's like a classic strawman trap. If I were her, I wouldn't even touch the stalking allegations. I just focus on the fact that they made fun of my pronunciation.
Of course.
I'd say, look at these haters, just nitpicking my words. By mixing the petty with the profound, the author is basically handing her the ammo to dismiss the entire video.
So the suggestion here is purely organizational. It's about reorganizing the whole thing.
Yeah, you need clear buckets.
We need categories like behavioral and safety concern, then maybe credibility and honesty, and then you can have your petty grievances at the end.
Right. You have to earn the right to be petty. Address the serious stuff first. Establish the stakes.
Convince the audience this is a serious situation.
And then, only then, do you move to the mockery, as like a pressure release, a cool-down lap. You don't use it as a distraction in the middle of the main event.
Let's get concrete with this. How would we move the pieces around? Right now, that fatal attraction comparison is just kind of floating near jokes about her face.
So you'd create a dedicated segment, call it Sinister and Threatening Behavior.
Okay.
And for like 5 minutes, you just pile up the evidence. You start with the fatal attraction comparison, where she's called a movie villain who will not be ignored. You pair that immediately with the clip about Doug DeGroot and Mike, where she says, "We are watching and listening."
And then you hit them with the bunnies boiled comment.
Yes. And if you stack those 3 things together with no interruption, you build this cohesive, undeniable case that she's acting in a threatening way. The audience feels the weight of it.
Okay, so once you've set that dark tone, you pivot to the second bucket.
Credibility and contradictions.
And that's where the teleprompter analysis goes.
Perfect spot for it.
Where she's reading an open letter, but claiming it's from the heart. You group that with the whole astral projection claim.
And it works because it highlights the disconnect, right? It shows the audience, okay, she claims to have this spiritual superiority, a third eye, whatever, but she needs a teleprompter to read her own feelings.
It proves it's all artificial. It's a performance.
Exactly. And then what's left over?
That leaves the naivety pronunciation, the navi-ity, and the comments about her making a face like she smelled something sour.
You say that for the very end. A lighthearted absurdity segment.
It becomes a palate cleanser.
It does. After you've shown she's dangerous and dishonest, then everyone can have a laugh at how absurd it is. It makes the narrative arc so much clearer. Danger, then deception, then absurdity.
All right, let's move on. Critique number 2 is about flow, specifically tonal transitions and commercial integration.
Ah, yes.
The placement of the commercial in this transcript, it creates this jarring tonal whiplash. It completely disrupts the tension they just built.
This was physically painful to read. It's the record scratch effect. The weakness is, the whole spends so much time building this dark, suspenseful atmosphere.
They're using words like creepy, threatening.
Right. They literally say, I cannot hear what you say because her actions are so loud. The tension is like an 8 or 9 out of 10.
And then, snap.
We're in a cheerful, enthusiastic discussion about a Brooklyn bedding mattress exploding without injury. What?
It completely shatters the immersion. It trivializes everything that came before it.
It really does. It's like you're telling a ghost story, and right when the ghost appears, you stop to sell me a blender.
You're not scared anymore. You're just annoyed.
Exactly. It signals to the audience that the threat you were just discussing isn't actually real. It's just content to get you to the ad read. It deflates the whole thing.
So the suggestion is what? Use a transition or just move the ad?
Ideally, you relocate the ad spot. Move it to a part of the show that's already lighter.
And there is a perfect spot for it.
There is.
The part where the subject pivots from exposing the truth to selling her own kits and gear.
Yes, it's thematically perfect. She says, buy my merch, and the hosts are mocking this grift.
So they can pivot and say, speaking of selling things,
we also have bills to pay, but at least our product works.
You put the mattress ad right there. It becomes ironic, fits the flow.
Okay, but let's play devil's advocate. Let's say the ad has to stay there. A contract thing, a timestamp, whatever.
Right. They can't move it. How do you fix the whiplash then?
Then you have to build a verbal bridge. You can't just stop talking about stalking and start talking about foam.
You need a palate cleanser sentence.
Exactly. Something that acknowledges how absurd the shift is.
So, like what?
Something like, okay, wow, we need to take a serious mental break from that level of intensity. Let's take a deep breath and talk about something that actually brings us peace, like getting a good night's sleep.
Ah, I see.
You have to hold the listener's hand. You admit, yes, this is a pivot, instead of just pretending it didn't happen. It maintains your credibility.
That makes sense. Okay, let's shift our lens to the argumentation itself. Critique number 3, balancing ad hominem with evidence-based analysis. The show's persona is personality-driven for sure, but relying too much on physical descriptors, it undermines the stronger evidence-based points they actually have.
This is where you can lose people. The weakness is that so much of the critique is focused on the subject's crazy eyes or the face she makes.
Or her lack of real girlfriends.
Right. And if you already hate her, that's what'd me. You love it. But if you're a neutral listener just trying to understand the conflict, it just sounds like insults. It's subjective.
And subjective insults are really easy to dismiss. You just don't like her face is a valid defense against an insult.
But it's not a defense against a contradiction. And the material has stronger objective evidence, the breadcrumbing, the teleprompter, that gets totally overshadowed by the personal attacks.
So the suggestion is to pivot the focus from how she looks to what she's doing.
Exactly. Use the physical observations to support an analytical point, not as the point itself.
Okay, so let's apply that. The commentary on the open letter. Right now, it's just, she looks insane. How do we fix that?
We take out the word insane and we replace it with calculated. Instead of look at her crazy eyes, you focus hard on the teleprompter observation. The critique is so much stronger when you point out the contradiction. She claims to be speaking from the heart about this deep betrayal, but her eyes are clearly tracking left to right, reading a script.
That's a behavioral smoking gun. It proves performance, not craziness.
Exactly. It moves the argument from she looks weird to she is lying to you about the nature of this video. It's actionable evidence.
Let's do another one. The astral projection in street lamp stuff. Right now, the reaction is just mockery. That's bullshit.
Which, it is a natural reaction, but you can deepen it.
How?
You have to analyze the manipulation tactic. Why is she saying this? She's not just being weird for the sake of it. She's using these supernatural claims to elevate herself above her critics.
It's a status play.
It is a total status play. She is saying, I have a third eye. I am spiritually evolved. Therefore, I am above your petty questions about money.
Wow, that explains why she feels entitled to just dismiss all the allegations.
Yes, it turns the alien comment from just a joke into a piece of psychological evidence about her superiority complex.
That's what keeps the audience hooked. Mockery gets old. analysis is evergreen.
You're teaching the audience how to spot a manipulator, not just laughing at a weirdo?
Let's move to our final critique. This one's about audience growth, really. Contextual accessibility for the outer ring audience.
The inside baseball problem.
That's it. The narrative assumes everyone listening has this high level of prior knowledge about all the lore, and that's just not true. It risks alienating people.
It really does. I was reading the transcript, and suddenly I'm hearing about Egyptian planes, France trying to off Candace, Pierre, a billion-dollar deal.
With almost no explanation.
Zero. And if you're a diehard fan, you know exactly what they mean. But if you're a casual listener who just clicked on the title, you are completely lost.
You have no idea why Egyptian planes are funny. You don't know who Pierre is.
And when an audience is confused, they check out. It creates a feeling of exclusion. It's like walking into a party where everyone's laughing at an inside joke.
And you're just standing there holding your drink.
Right. So the suggestion here isn't to cut the references.
No, the references are the gold.
They are. The suggestion is to use the parenthetical explanation technique.
Explain that.
It's just a brief one-sentence recap you insert right before the punchline, just to make sure everyone in the room gets the joke.
Okay, give me an example. The Egyptian plane spreadsheet.
Okay, so right now they just mock the spreadsheet. The fix is simple. Before the mockery, the host just says something like, "For those who missed last week, she previously claimed she had evidence of a global conspiracy involving planes in Egypt, which never materialized. Now look at the spreadsheet."
That took 5 seconds.
5 seconds, but you just brought half the audience back into the loop. Now when they see the spreadsheet, they get the context. The joke lands harder.
Same thing for the clip where she mentions Justin Strife and Pierre.
Exactly. Who is Pierre? Is he a waiter? A CEO? A spy? The host should just briefly clarify. A quick interjection. And Pierre is the alleged contact for the billion-dollar deal before they dismiss the claim.
That makes the critique of her name-dropping actually effective. Because if I don't know who Pierre is, her saying his name means nothing.
But if you tell me he's the billion-dollar man, then I see she's using his name to borrow authority. It grounds the criticism. Without context, it's just noise. With context, it's a dissection of a grift.
So to recap, we've covered 4 big shifts today. First, structural prioritization.
Group the serious threats away from the petty stuff. Avoid diluting your own argument.
Second, tonal transitions. Don't let a mattress ad kill your suspense. Move it or bridge the gap.
Third, balance ad hominem with evidence. Pivot from "she looks crazy" to "her behavior is calculated." Use the teleprompter, not just her eyes.
And finally, contextual accessibility. Bring the outer ring audience in. Use those quick parenthetical explanations so everyone gets the joke.
Yeah, these aren't massive rewrites, but they'll make the arguments so much more robust and accessible.
Absolutely. It transforms the content from just a reaction video into a really compelling, authoritative piece of analysis.
And that's what you want. You want the listener to leave not just entertained, but, armed with a better understanding of how these arguments work.
We invite you to submit your future transcripts for further review. We'd love to see how you implement these shifts and watch the show evolve. Thank you for listening to The Critique.